Hai, halo semuanya. Selamat datang, selamat bergabung bersama saya, Menina Putri Wismurti, di Festival Co-Director Europe on Screen, dan kita sekarang hadir di Road to Europe on Screen 2023, RTE 23, di mana biasanya kami akan ngobrol bareng pelaku industri film Eropa maupun Indonesia. Dan hari ini kita akan ngobrol bareng dengan Sasha Prokopenko, yaitu Program Director dari Kyiv International Short Film Festival yang berada di Ukraine. Kalian sendiri tahu keadaan Ukraine seperti apa saat ini dari membaca berita, tapi kita akan ngobrol bareng dengan salah satu dengan program direkturnya, di mana festivalnya masih akan terus berlangsung walaupun negaranya sedang mengalami perang, tapi mereka masih tetap mengadakan festival film. Itu ada sesuatu yang sangat keren sekali. Jadi kita bisa belajar banyak dari Sasha nanti, dan ternyata serunya lagi menurut Sasha, karena festivalnya adalah festival film pendek yang bertaraf internasional, jadi kalian kalau memang tertarik untuk mensubmit film pendeknya bisa langsung cari tahu di sini untuk nongkrongin kita terus di acara Road to Europe on Screen 2023 Instagram Live ini bersama saya, Menina Putri Wismurti. Untuk teman-teman yang juga sudah mulai banyak bertanya di DM kami terkait dengan short film pitching project, masih tetap buka, tapi harus segera buruan daftar karena kita akan tutup di hari Minggu dan sekarang sudah hari Kamis. Jadi hari Minggu sebelum sampai jam 23.59 masih kami tunggu. Paling akhir hari Minggu tanggal 30 April kalian masih bisa daftar untuk ikutan di Short Film Pitching Project Europe on Screen 2023. Dan kalian tinggal isi ide cerita kalian, formulirnya bisa dilihat juga di situ. Apa aja yang ingin diisi, bisa juga mengisi beberapa ide cerita kalau memang ada banyak ide ceritanya. Banyak yang bertanya hal itu, apakah boleh memasukkan lebih dari satu ide cerita atas nama satu orang? Boleh saja. Lalu apakah bila tinggal di luar negeri ingin mendaftarkan juga ide cerita untuk short film pitching project-nya, silakan selama syutingnya dan semua produksinya dilakukan di Indonesia, tidak di luar negeri, karena saya rasa juga biaya produksinya akan cukup besar ya kalau kalian syutingnya di luar negeri. Okay, hari ini, today we are going to talk about Kyiv International Short Film Festival with its program director, Miss Sasha Prokopenko. The Kyiv International Short Film Festival has been running right now, even under circumstances, and now we will talk with her about the festival that is located in Ukraine. Let me just check whether I could invite her. Questions, if you want to ask her in Indonesia, please do. I can help you to translate to her. Hi, Sasha.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, nice to see you.
It's good to see you again. The last time we met was in cold weather.
Yeah.
How's the weather now in Kyiv?
Oh, it's quite rainy, but yes, it's okay.
But it's not as cold as Berlin, I guess.
No, I don't think so. How are you?
I'm good. We just finished having the Ramadan holiday, and now we're back in the office, and it's been such a hot day. We have a heat wave coming in the past weeks, yes, where the temperature could get up to 37 until 40. So I know climate change is real.
Yeah. I can hardly imagine working in this weather, but
yeah, well, we
basically that you're here right now.
Yeah, we practically still work only at the room with the aircon and everything. So yeah, but then if we go outside, then we could probably be very careful not to die. And you, how is it now? Are you back in Kyiv, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how is it right now?
Sorry?
How is it right now?
Well, the situation in Ukraine is like obviously not homogeneous. So as for Kyiv, comparing to the south and east of Ukraine, it's quiet, I would say, from the Ukrainian point of view at least. So every once in a while we have air raid alerts due to the Russian missile attacks. But like children go to school, we work, we go to the restaurants and bars and cinemas. And in the past several months, we had like several huge premieres of much awaited Ukrainian films, which is great. But
Wow.
yeah, at the same time, like the situation in south and east is much worse, and they are under constant Russian shelling. The territories, some of them are temporarily occupied. And even this morning, Russians hit the residential building in Mykolaiv, and one person died and 23 injured, including one child. So
Oh
even
no, my God.
the situation in Kyiv is better comparing what we had like this winter and autumn. We still like live in the middle of war, and everyone has friends and relatives and loved ones in the armed forces. And I would say that our communal responsibility is to have their back and support them and provide them with anything they need, and help volunteers by raising donations for the military. And we have to speak up about them, speak up about the prisoners of war and civilians and children that were abducted to Russia. And also to constantly remind the world that this genocidal war is still not over, and that we need the help and support that we can possibly get. So,
Yeah.
that's it.
And amongst of that, you are still doing the festival. That's the thing that very courageous of you. But before we go, that probably you would it would be better if you to introduce yourself, your current profession. I understand that you are also not only for the Kyiv International Short Film Festival, you are also helping other film festivals like the Molodis and everything.
Yeah. So, hi everyone, again. I'm Sasha Prokopenko, the head of programming at the Kyiv International Short Film Festival. I have joined the team in 2016, and since 2018, I'm in the programming department. So beside this one, I also curate a program for a young audience at the Molodis Film Festival. And I'm helping with our first LGBTQIA+ film festival, Sunny Bunny, that will be held this June. I think that's it.
So the one in June is the other festival, right?
Yeah, and my festival, the Kyiv International Short Film Festival, is in September.
Okay, and then now you said that you have already opened the submission for your short film festival.
That's right. They are already open, and we close them on August 23. So the early deadline is July 23, and the late one August 23. So yeah, you're very much welcome to send your works. I'm really excited to see them.
Great. So yes, maybe before you can tell us a little bit about the one that you will do in the next 2 months in June, which is actually the same like our festival that will take place in June. And then also we could continue more talking about the short film festival.
Well, with the Sunny Bunny that will be held in June, I'm not in the programming. I'm just helping Bogdan with like anything he needs. But yeah, this festival first emerged from Molodis Film Festival, which is the oldest one in Ukraine. It has been going since 1970. And yeah, so first they had this special section that is called Sunny Bunny, which was a special section for LGBT films. And they had their own competition and non-competitive programs. They were screening shorts, and now they are finally separating from all this, and it becomes very.
It's on.
Yeah, it's so fascinating that the very first queer festival in Ukraine, and
that is so cool.
yeah, I'm really proud to be part of it.
And then the Kyiv International Short Film Festival. How long have you been running the festival?
The festival was funded in 2011. And this autumn we are having our 12th edition. So 13 years already. Usually we screen around 200 to 150 short films in about 30 programs. And that's pretty much the scale that we are planning to reach this year.
Okay. And you have been started since the very beginning as the program director, or?
No, I joined the team in 2016. At the time I was the head of translation, actually. Then
cool.
Yeah, started with subtitles and then climbed up the programming department. So then I joined the programming team in 2018. Started with like making some programs and helping with just pre-selection. And for the last 3 years, I've been the head of the programming.
And how do you do that? Like, how many films you have to watch every year?
Well, we receive around 2,000 films.
Oh, wow.
At Film Freeway, and beside that, like I also attend some festivals and just check their programming. And
Yes.
I use the like film bases of, for example, the Clermont-Ferrand. They have a huge market catalog, and it is around like 7,000 or 8,000 films every year. So I try to see as much as I can. So I think every year I watch up to 4,000 or 5,000 short films.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And are there any criteria that you have to keep in mind while you are watching these films?
It really depends. Like at the festival, we have competitions and non-competitive programs. So, and if we speak of the international competition, for example, every year we pick around 20 short films that are screened in this section. And with them, I just try to search for something daring, brave, innovative, something that would invite you to discover like new ideas and new forms and new ways of expression. So it can be like any genre or anything that kind of transforms or even transcends the genre. So I just want to be surprised in this case. If we speak of something non-competitive, here we try to balance between the programs and sections that kind of can be entertaining for the audience. So some programs are more mainstream that might be interesting to a visitor who just randomly pops into the cinema. And when the other programs address issues that are relevant both in Ukraine and globally, such as social justice and gender equality, LGBTQ plus rights, environmental issues, and so on and so on. So yeah, it's always kind of balancing between trying to be socially aware and active, and still bringing some fun and joy to our audience.
Yes, that's the most important part, I guess, and also the joy to the programmer itself.
Yeah.
And how does the festival running? Like first, you said that before that it's actually being screened on the cinema, and what kind of audience that attended your festival? How old were they? Like, do you have also short films for children, or is it like only limited to some young adult or something like that?
The audience is quite diverse. So at least for the last 5 years, we have been like, oh, sorry, the notifications pop up. So we have some special programs for kids and for teenagers. Most of our audience is kind of like youngsters between 18 and 30. But really it can be anyone. Like for the last couple of years, I've been seeing this elderly couple, like an old man and old lady in their 70s, and they're coming every year and they're attending the festival parties, and it's just so fascinating to see them attending our some experimental and quirky programs, and also something funny and sassy, and they're like everywhere. It's just really nice to know that they also can find something interesting for them in our programming.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, but I understand that. For example, you were talking before about Clermont-Ferrand, and most of the Clermont-Ferrand audience are the elderly, and it's nice to see also the elderly still coming out to watch the films in your festival.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, in the future editions, maybe to try and make something specifically for this age group. Maybe prepare something special for them and kind of appreciate their presence at the festival.
Wow, yes, that's a good idea actually. And then from you said that you watch around 4,000 or 5,000 films a year. From those films, how many films that you finally screen in your festival?
Please repeat the question.
Yeah, from all the films that you've watched before, how many films that got selected or screening in the festival? Like, does it almost 100 or even more?
Well, usually we screen around 250 films. So that's it. And I think that from what we receive as submissions to our Film Freeway, it's around 50 films, and the rest is just checking other festivals, other catalogs, and reaching to the directors or film agencies directly, and also like some film agencies and distributor, they also reach out us and send us these huge catalogs of their new works. So yeah, that's it. And also some of them are like the curated selections from our friends and partners from other festivals. And this is also a fun part of this exchange between countries and festivals. It's really nice when someone prepares a section for us, and then we go to their festival and
Great.
Make this world
like
smaller.
Yeah, like an exchange program, like that country can screen the Ukrainian short films, and then you can also screen the others short films. That sounds good. And how is it with the preparation within the last 2 years? Like, do you still able to do it in the cinema, or do you do another screening places that become your alternative place, or how does it work now?
Luckily, we have quite many venues in Kyiv and other cities that have bomb shelters, so we can keep the festival within the cinema walls. And for the last edition, it was held in November, so it was quite tough period for us because we had the electricity outages and troubles with mobile connection. So every festival had to run the generators in order to make everything work.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it will be the next year. But now we already know how to do it. And also since 2020, after the pandemic, we also implemented this practice of kind of hybrid festival, where we have some programs screened on site and also online. And this year, I'm really proud that almost all of the programs were screened online as well, and not only in Ukraine, but also in the countries with a high number of Ukrainian refugees, like Poland and Baltic countries, Czechia and Germany. And I'm really grateful for every director who agreed to take part in this, because it's kind of still problematic when you haven't had the premieres in several countries, and you would
Yeah.
not want to have it online. But considering our situation, they just helped us bring the festival closer to our audience who is now abroad because of the war.
Yeah. And then in that case, so that you bring all the films to come to these cities, these other countries. It's like an on-tour kind of program, or do they watch it via online?
They watch it online on our online cinema platform.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of accessible during the festival and maybe 1 week later. So yeah, that's how we did it last year, and I think that we will continue doing it for the next couple of years.
I see. So including this year, then you will also have a hybrid format so that it could also reach their Ukrainians.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And what, I mean, I'm sure that the biggest challenge would be, beside the electricity power that suddenly disappear or other technical problem, what are the biggest challenges that holding the festivals these years?
Well, beside these practical issues, we also have troubles with actually the film industry and the cultural field in general, because all the financing is now used to help the military and the Ukrainian armed forces. So I'm afraid that in the next couple of years, we'll have the decrease in number of new films, because like the directors can't find the funding. Some of them are in the armed forces, some of them are volunteers, and yeah, it's really hard to keep creating something new in these circumstances. But on the other hand, I'm curious to see how it is going to be. And I'm hopeful that we'll still have new works, and maybe we'll have more co-productions and collaborations with foreign producers and agencies. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's. I hope that you can find some support on that part, especially with the co-productions.
And that's also actually another problem with that. The festivals also don't get the funding from the government, so we also have to search for grants and apply for some international support to keep going.
Yes, and the festival itself, does people or the audience have to buy some tickets to watch some films, or how does it work?
Yeah, we have ticketing for the on-site screenings, and also they can buy the festival pass or just buy screening by screening.
Right.
The tickets to watch everything online as well. We are considering to make some of the programs free of charge, like for example, the animated short programs for children. They might be free of charge and may be accessible during the whole year, so the parents could just show this work to their kids just instead of watching YouTube.
Yeah, that's much better than you're right, than watching the content on YouTube. Yeah, and then also, what about the film industry itself in Ukraine at the moment? Is the film production still continues? People still go to the cinema?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, as I have already said, they have to maybe try harder to find some financial support at some film markets, finding co-producers and collaborators. And we also still receive this, we see the films that have been finished or almost finished before the full-scale war. So they are still kind of in the post-production period or just premiering. So for, I think, the next half year, we'll still have some films, and then we'll see.
Yeah, okay. So we just have to pray in the next couple of years ahead, or probably sooner, that the war will stop. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is how it's been more than a year. So Yeah. So yes, talking about the Ukrainian film industry, what do you think, in your own opinion, is the characteristic of Ukrainian films, especially the short films that you watch?
Mm, well, the main thing that I appreciate the most in the Ukrainian films is that
Hmm.
they are relevant and not detached from the reality that we live in. So
Mm.
they are pointed and effective, I think. Because yeah, it's really hard to forget about the circumstances that we live in, and there is no need to forget about them. You need to react on them and reflect on them, and I think it's the way to help yourself and others to cope with this trauma.
Mm.
uh,
Yes,
yeah,
it's to
I
retell a
think that's
story.
the most important part for me.
So most of the films that recently you watch have reflected these issues.
Yeah, and even if it's not like directly, even if the
Hmm.
topic is, even if the film is totally not about that, there is always still the presence of the war that has been going for 9 years already. You can't avoid it because, yeah, as I've already said, it's everywhere and it has affected everyone.
Mm. Did you also this kind of aspect when you were a jury in Berlinale last February for the Teddy? Did you also see the similar kind of stories or threat like that too in the films that you watch?
Mm, in some of them, yeah. And I really value the works that reflect on their reality, and where the filmmakers can be like pointed and sincere about what's happening in
Mm.
their environment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
that's
not.
it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's so this characteristic are portrayed more at the Ukrainian short films, but then also reflected in the world outside.
Mm,
So people are more. I don't know how to deliver it right, but probably people are more comfortable of retelling their stories or as part of the outlets of their trauma, probably.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just thinking out loud here. It's just like uh I hope I don't know whether this is right or wrong, but then I hope when people made a short films or a film that able to channeling their own story, their own trauma. I don't know how the outcome will go, right? Like, is it going to be a happy story or the one that touch your heart or something like that? I was just thinking out loud here that maybe because of the pandemic, most of the films that we saw is a little bit depressing, but we need more
Mm-hmm.
of sunny bunny kind of happy films. What do you think about that? I mean, do you see that also in the films that
Well,
you've been watching?
I think that we need all kinds of films.
True.
uh, yeah, not every work needs to be introspective and kind of
Mm.
reflecting on your emotions. Yeah, some works can be just short and clear and silly, and just it can be anything. um, but when you live in such circumstances, sometimes it's kind of hard to forget about it and just enjoy what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes you want to see some substance behind this work to um, to yeah, you want it to be effective and relevant. uh, I think that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, I really admire your work in still running the festival, even though it is a hard times in your country. That I just hope that that the film festival will also lift up the people's mood. Does it really help? Like when you screen the films and you're still going on, even though there's a short break in the electricity or something like that. Is the audience being helped or
Yeah, it's so
motivated?
helpful. And I think that we are still running this festival, and everyone in Ukraine who keep working, it's just like we don't know any other ways of existing. That's like what we do and what we can do like quite well. And when we had this last edition in November, it was just so exciting to finally be back in the cinema and see our audience, to be on stage and communicate with them, to like we had a bunch of emerging Ukrainian filmmakers that participated in the Ukrainian competition, and it was just so nice, you know. Just we sat on stage, we discussed the films, and then you go outside and you still keep discussing what you've seen on screen with the audience, with your friend that you haven't seen for many months, because it has become harder to, you know, find time to just go and chill with your friends because everyone is quite busy. So yeah, it was just amazing, and I'm looking forward to the next edition.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine like if you're running a film festival and then there's some kind of air raid or I don't know what kind of explosive around you, and then still going on, and then the people are still gathering to watch your films, and that could somehow change their life or at least support their moods for once.
Yeah, it's really a weird thing with how our brain is flexible, that, you know, you really get used to the things pretty fast. So you're like, oh my god, going to the screening, and then they air raid a lot, and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to be late for the screening, or they are going to like delay it. But yeah, you still go to the bomb shelter, you wait and wait and wait, and then you return to the cinema. That's how we've been going for the last year and a half, or like, oh no, is it a year and a half? Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Almost. Yeah, over a year at least. Yeah, you just get used to it.
I think that's
And people,
another material for, you know, the short film fest, short film stories actually.
yeah,
Someone going out from their house and then going to your festival to watch the film.
yeah, I think we'll have more such films in the next couple of years.
You were also saying that last year, the last edition, there was like also emerging Ukrainian filmmakers. Maybe you can share with us their names, and probably the audience here can also look for their works.
Yeah, okay. I'll try not to forget them, the names. So
Or maybe the
last
title of the
year,
film. Or maybe the title of the film, if you forget their names.
okay, so last year in the Ukrainian competition, I think we had 10 films. These are the Ukrainian animation by Alexander Hoysan. It is titled The Analog Space, I think. Then we had a film by Кирило Земляний, a film by Slava Turyanicя, another one by Dmytro Sukholitky-Sobchuk. Then we had Anastasia Babenko's film, who was the winner of the festival, and it is titled The Diaper Cake. And actually, next month, on I think May 18, this film is going to premiere on Vimeo, so easy to see it. Then we had Teatralna Station. Oh my god, I forgot the directors. Sorry. Alina Panasenko, yeah. Then we had an amazing compilation of animated works by Mikita Liskov. He made this bunch of short animated films from different animation filmmakers from all over the world, and they were all united with the idea of the death of Putin. And they were kind of imagining the different ways to kill him or how he can die. So it's just a funny reflection on what's happening in the world. How many were that? I'm afraid to forget someone.
It's okay. And probably also you could recommend some other Ukrainian films. Doesn't have to be short films that you would watch to inspire you or make you happy, or just to watch it because you want to watch it.
Yeah, just shortly, I forgot the last one. It is called It's Quiet Here, and it was directed by Olena Podelanko and Novruz Hikmet. So that's it, I think. And as for my favorite Ukrainian directors, yeah.
Or his film or her film, the one the title.
As for the directors, it's really hard to like. There are so many of them, and it's really exciting to witness how this new wave of Ukrainian cinema emerged, how it evolves and keeps growing after the Maidan and the beginning of the war in 2014. So if you are curious about the Ukrainian cinema, I would recommend check the list. It is called 100 Best Ukrainian Films of All Times, and it was prepared 2 years ago for the 30th anniversary of the Ukrainian independence. So, and since then, we have had lots of new and prominent films, but I think it's a good starting point. And as for my favorite Ukrainian films, as of today at least, I would say it's Babylon 20. It's an old Ukrainian work by Ivan Mikulaichuk. It was directed in 1979, and it was the last film from the wave that was called the Ukrainian poetic cinema. Yeah, it's a story about how communism kind of destroyed the normal life of the Ukrainian village. The second one would be The Earth is Blue as an Orange by Irina Tsilik. And this one is an extremely touching documentary about a family that lives in Donbass near the under unceasing shelling, and how they reflect on their traumatic experiences with the means of art. And the third one would be Evge, or Homeward, by the Crimean Tatar director Nariman Aliyev. And it tells the story of a familial tragedy when the oldest son of a family dies in the Russian-Ukrainian war. And the father and son transport this body of the deceased son from Kyiv to bury him in Crimea. And I think that, yeah, all three of them, they have this presence of our enemy that keeps messing with our lives.
Right.
For the last 300 years.
Yes. So then the three titles are the Babylon 20, some classic, and then also the documentary, The Earth is as Blue as the Orange.
Yeah.
And I think I watched one then. That was pretty touching. And I cried. And what was the last one? The
Homeward.
Homeward.
Yeah. Or Evge in Crimean Tatar.
Yeah, I think those films are available at the movie or other streaming platform, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, and now you can tell us if our audience here wants to submit their films. Are there any requirements, or does it have to be in certain length or certain genre or a recent production, or what are you looking for the short films for your festival?
So usually we, like for this edition, we accept that works that were produced by the beginning of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
So this is the earliest date. Up to 35 minutes.
Up to 35 minutes, okay.
Yeah, but you know, if your film is a little bit older or longer, and you still want to submit it and want us to consider it, it's totally okay. You can just still submit it or contact me. Yeah, and we will leave the link to our Film Freeway where you can submit it, and also contact me or the info email of our festival, just in case you have any questions regarding the submissions.
Okay, and then they and they could follow the Instagram account, right? At the
Yes,
KISFF_UA. Could they also ask their questions there if they want to submit their film?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. And then after that, you will probably announce it by August, I imagine, or
Yeah, by the end of August.
by the end of August. And the festival is happening. What are the dates?
September 13, 17.
September 13 until 17. Okay. So yeah. So you probably will have to stay there from June until September, right?
Yeah, but I have to do other festivals between that. So this summer is quite busy.
Okay. Are you going to be another jury in the film festival?
Well, in June we have Sunny Bunny. Yeah, and then there is another festival that my team organizes. It is called the Films of Our Neighbors. It happens in Uzhhorod. Yeah, it happens in Uzhhorod, which is in Zakarpattia, Transcarpathian region of Ukraine, and there we screen films from the neighbors of this region, like Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Czechia. And last year was our first edition. It went quite well, so I think it will be even better this year.
And this is going to be an offline screening for the films from our neighbors. That's very interesting.
So we are going to travel there and spend there a couple of days, have the screenings, discussions. Hopefully we'll have some guests. So yeah, that's the idea.
And what will you do if you don't have any festival to run? What do you do usually?
I also work for the distribution company that is called Kyiv Music Film, and we screen feature films in Ukrainian cinemas. Mostly these are documentaries on music, cultural stuff. We screen retrospectives. Like next month, we are showing The Elephant Man of David Lynch, and for the first time on big screen in Ukraine. So yeah, we also do that.
Okay. So then you are also working at the distributor company, and then I'm just curious how many films that being screened in your cinema, and how many screens that you have right now in Ukraine that still function as a cinema.
Actually, I don't have this information regarding like all the screens that operate in Ukraine. I think before the full-scale war, it was around 400 screens.
Oh wow!
But as for our selection and our catalog, we screen in around 20 cinemas around Ukraine. The film that we distribute,
including The Elephant Man later on. Oh wow! Now I want to go to Ukraine just to watch that film, because we would never be able.
Please come.
We would never be able to screen that film here.
I would gladly host you.
Awesome! That's so cool. and these films, and how much usually the ticket being sold in the cinema for regular film?
It's around €4 per ticket.
Yeah. So similar to here then.
Yeah.
But there's no censorship and all that because here we have censorship.
No.
Nice.
Yeah. The only thing that we have to follow is just the film needs to be either dubbed or subtitled in Ukrainian.
Okay.
Which makes total sense. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. Great. Thank you so much, Sasha, for spending of your time and your lunchtime. Actually, sorry for taking your lunchtime today.
Don't worry. It was my first Instagram live, so I'm so glad that it was with you.
I thought that you did an Instagram live during the Teddy, the Berlinale.
No, but not on Instagram.
Good to see you again. And
Yeah.
are you coming to other film festival that probably we could meet together?
We'll have to check it. To check my busy schedule. But yeah, I hope that we'll find some similarities in our schedules.
Yes, otherwise we will meet in Teddy again next year. Hopefully.
Yeah,
crossing fingers. Sure. Greetings to Bodan and all the team at the Sunny Bunny too. I miss them so much. Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Great, thank you so much, everyone. That was our talk with Sasha, the program director of Kyiv International Short Film Festival. So as she said, you are welcome to submit your short films, the one that has been produced since 2021. It accepted Indonesian films too. Jadi kalau kalian punya short film Indonesia yang dibuat di tahun 2021, bisa langsung disubmit ke festivalnya Sasha di Kyiv International Short Film Festival. Mereka masih buka sampai Juli kalau nggak salah. Jadi bisa dicek nanti di Instagramnya mereka KISFF_UA atau di email mereka. Lalu nanti kalau mau tanya-tanya langsung soal gimana caranya, bisa langsung ke email mereka info at I forgot the website, it's actually info at KISFF kalau nggak salah .org. Bisa dicek juga karena mereka sangat tertarik untuk menonton film-film pendek dari Indonesia dan bayangkan film kalian diputar di Kiev. Tadi seperti yang sudah kita dengar, mereka masih tetap melaksanakan festival filmnya walaupun lagi ada serangan udara atau ada bom, ada segala macam, bahkan orang-orang tetap masih pingin keluar untuk nonton film. Itu sesuatu yang amazing banget, so impressive. Like you want to still go out to try to watch film that may change your life. It's in spite of the war. That's awesome. So yeah, kalau kalian ingin film kalian diputar di Ukraine, di Kiev International Short Film Festival, silakan cek ke website mereka dan ke Instagram mereka. Dan kalau kalian ingin bikin film baru, film pendek baru, walaupun kalian baru masih punya ide ceritanya saja, silakan daftar ke Short Film Pitching Project EOS 2023 karena kita masih buka sampai hari Minggu. Dan sebelumnya kami akan juga mengumumkan sesuatu tentang Europe on Screen 2023. Pantengin terus Instagram kami karena kami akan segera mengumumkan festival kami, tanggal berapa, kalian nanti bisa segera cek-cek apakah festivalnya akan datang ke kota kalian, apakah bisa ditonton lagi online atau tidak, seperti apa film-filmnya. Film-filmnya sih belum tentu kita bongkar sekarang, karena sekarang kami juga masih siap-siap untuk programming filmnya sendiri. Tapi kalau kalian ingin tahu terus soal Europe on Screen, silahkan pantengin karena kami akan segera mengumumkan festival kami akan berlangsung di tanggal kapan. Serta kami masih tunggu ide-ide kalian untuk menulis cerita dan memproduksi film pendek di Short Film Pitching Project EOS 2023. Saya Melina Putri Wismurti, Festival Co-Director dari Europe on Screen 2023. Undur diri dulu, nanti kita ketemu lagi setiap hari Senin atau Kamis di Road to EOS 2023 Instagram Live Session. See you guys and take care. Ciao.